boys and girls. Oh my gosh, Humphrey is solving so many mysteries. He solved the mystery of Phoebe's watch, and now he's thinking about why Thomas is so sad. So let's read to find out. Class, get ready for a ton of fun, Mr. E announced. I wasn't in the mood for fun, so I crawled into my sleeping hut and had a nice dream about Phoebe's daisy watch. When I awoke, I thought I was having a bad dream. In fact, I thought I was having a nightmare. There were ghosts hanging from the ceiling, there were witches and broomsticks and black cats flying above the bulletin board, and there were leering pumpkins of every shape and size pinned on the board. Now, readers, remember the title of this chapter was called Creepy Classroom. So now I'm understanding why it's creepy. And we could probably predict what season it is. You got it. Eek, I squeaked. I don't think anybody heard me. I'll bet this is the best decorated room in all of Longfellow School, Mr. E told my friends. To squeak the truth, he was probably right, but I didn't think looking at those hideous grinning pumpkin faces and ghastly ghosts all night long would be best for me. And don't forget, there'll be a costume party on Halloween next week, Mr. E reminded the class. Eek, I squeaked. As if my paws weren't already full of problems, now I had to come up with a costume. Humans just don't realize how much a classroom hamster has to do. After school, Mr. Morales came into the classroom. Nice decorations, Ed, he said. Mr. E looked very proud. Mr. Morales took a piece of paper out of his pocket. Have you got a moment? Sure, Mr. E said. The two men sat in some student chairs. Grown-up humans always look funny sitting in those small chairs, you know. How have things been going with the class? The principal asked. Great, Mr. E said. The kids are best. Mr. Morales nodded. Yes, and I could tell that they like you a lot. Mr. E smiled, and I think his red hair glowed a little bit brighter. But there have been a few problems, Mr. Morales continued. Yes, there have, I squeaked. Problems like Phoebe, Harry, Kelsey, Simon, Rosie, Holly, Thomas. I know all that the principal heard was squeak, 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 and it made him laugh. Yes, Humphrey, I know you're listening, he said. Mr. E cleared his throat. What problems? The principal looked down at the paper. Well, Mrs. Wright has complained about some safety issues, some injuries, a problem with noise, and a problem with students roaming the halls during class. Oh, Mr. E said. I guess Mrs. Wright and I don't see eye to eye. Mr. Morales smiled. Mrs. Wright does like to follow the rules, but rules are there for a reason after all. Mr. E nodded nervously. Yes, I understand. If he understood, why didn't he follow them? That was the part of the mystery of Mr. E. And a few parents have called to say that they're concerned about the lack of homework, Mr. Morales continued. Mr. E chuckled. I'll bet the students haven't complained about that. No, Principal Morales replied, but we're here to teach the children. I believe that learning is fun, but there's work involved too. Mr. E nodded and nodded some more. He looked so nervous. Even his red hair looked pale. And then there's Mrs. Brisbane. Mr. Morales wasn't smiling anymore. She's wondering if you're keeping up with her lesson plans. She said you haven't called her with questions. Oh, Mr. E said, well, I've been following the lesson plans, but kind of adding my own touches. Maybe I haven't been following them closely enough. Ooh, this Mr. E was honest. I liked that about him. The district-wide math test is coming up. Are the students prepared for that? Mr. Morales asked. Not completely, Mr. E said. Not yet. Ed, I want to give you a chance. You're a new teacher, and I know you really want to continue, Mr. Morales said, but the learning comes first. It certainly does, I squeaked. Boing, 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 boing. Og agreed. Are you letting me go, Mr. E asked. No, Ed, Mr. Morales said. I think you can be a good teacher, but I need to see a change starting tomorrow. Yes, yes, I'll change, Mr. E said. Thank you for giving me another chance. I won't let you down. The two men shook hands and Mr. Morales left. Once he was alone again, Mr. E began to mutter something I couldn't really understand. I did hear the word failed. I know that my fellow classmates don't want want to fail, maybe teachers don't want to fail either. After a while, he got up and paced around the room. "Don't give up," I squeaked. I was trying to be helpful. I guess Mr. E heard my squeaks because he looked my way. "I'll tell you one thing, I'm not giving up," he said, and he sounded very determined, which gave me hope. "Take out the lesson plans," I squeaked. "In the binder, in the drawer." I didn't think he was likely to listen to me since he thought of me as an it, but surprisingly, he marched over to the desk, opened the drawer, and took out the binder. He stuffed the binder into his large sack. Then he came over to the table where Og and I live. "You have it easy. You're just classroom pets. Everybody loves you, and you don't have to worry about tests." Then he stared out the window. His shoulders slumped. He sighed once or twice. After a while, I couldn't stand it. "You can do a better job," I squeaked. "Try, try, try." Mr. E looked down at me and almost smiled. "Would you like to switch jobs with me, Humphrey?" he asked. I think it was the first time he used my name. "I could sit in your cage and take naps, and you'd teach the class." I was sorry to hear that he thought all that I did was sit in my cage and take naps, but then he didn't know much about the lock that doesn't lock. "I really like my job," I squeaked. I was too polite to say that I didn't think Mr. E would be a very good classroom pet. "I really like my job," Mr. E said, "and I want to make this work." "I want this to work too," I replied. Just then, Miss Mack walked in. Why do good things always happen when Miss Mack walks in? "Hi," Ed said. "How's it going?" Mr. E sighed. Not very well, I'm afraid." "What happened?" Miss Mack asked. "Mr. Morales just told me there have been a lot of complaints about my teaching. Too much noise, not enough homework, and Mrs. Brisbane doesn't think I'm following her lesson plans," he explained. "Are you?" Miss Mack asked in the friendliest way possible. Mr. E shook his head. "Yes and no." Miss Mack said, "Oh." She came a little closer to my cage and leaned down. "Hi, Humphrey," she said with a wink. "I really want to be a teacher," Mr. E said. "There were no job openings, so I signed up to be a substitute." "Hey, that's how I got started," Miss Mack said. "Yes, if she hadn't, I wouldn't have my wonderful job." "I've never told anyone what happened," Mr. E said. Miss Mack smiled. "Well, I'm a good listener." Mr. E nodded. "Okay. Listen up, Og," I squeaked to my neighbor. "Maybe we'll solve the mystery of Mr. E." "Boing, boing," Og agreed. My first day as a substitute was a nightmare. I tried to teach the kids, but they wouldn't be quiet, wouldn't sit down, wouldn't listen to a word I said. When I tried to give them homework, they threw paper wads at me. "What?" I squeaked. "That was rude, rude, rude. Boing, boing, boing." I was as shocked as I was. Miss Mack was surprised too. "Was that at Longfellow's school?" she asked. "Oh, no, Mr. E said. "I tell you, I was ready to give up teaching forever, and I decided that the next time I got an assignment, I'd make everything F-U-N, fun. If the kids liked me, maybe they'd behave better." All right, we'll stop there, boys and girls. Looks like we have another mystery.